Hey guys, Mason here. It is winter time and snowing outside, so I got some heat on in the shop and I am going to dig into the doohickey. Now this is not going to be a how-to because there is tons of those on YouTube and some of them are absolutely fantastic. This is just going to be to record my findings when I open it up, because I have 7,399 kilometers on this bike, and I want to see what condition the spring's inside there. So let's open it up and check it out. Step 1, remove the skid plate. So this is a good opportunity to check your skid plate and see if you think it was worth the investment. And as you can see, I certainly do think it was worth the investment. Some of those are deep. So I'm very happy with it. I think that was a great investment. It fits nice, it looks good, and it's obviously strong, as you can tell by how much damage it's taken. Okay guys, here's a Mason top tip. So, oil is drained, plugs back in. Now it's going to sit without oil until I'm done doing the doohickey and possibly until I'm done doing the valve check. So I want to make sure that I don't forget and start it. So head to your fridge, grab a Frigi magnet that has a bit of white on it, cut it off, write no oil on it, and stick it right over where your key goes. Now this likely only applies to us old fellas, but I'll tell you right now, it may just save your motor. If you go to stick your key in and you see that in there, that'll be enough to make you go, oh yeah, wait a minute, it needs a bit of oil. So now that the drive sprocket cover's off, I want to clean up in there because there's a bunch of junk. There's even a rock in there, look. A couple dead frogs. Might even be a turtle. I'm not entirely sure what that is in the back there. But now's the time to get that cleaned out. So I'm going to grab my trusty screwdriver and pick all that schmeg out of there. Next thing I'm going to do is draw a line on my shifter so I know exactly where it's splined on right now. Just so I don't have to struggle with it later, because I absolutely love the position it's in. So there we go. Line those back up after and it's back where it was. Okay, front sprocket cover all cleaned up. Nothing cleans those out better than using a toothbrush, so I ran in the house and grabbed Mrs. Mason's. Scrubbed it up, looks nice and clean now. Don't worry, I'll put the toothbrush back. But there's another part that's off the bike, cleaned and ready to go back on. Okay guys, as you can see, it looks pretty good. And my spring still has tension. Now, which is a great thing. Now I purposely haven't let the adjuster bolt off yet because I want to see how much that spring takes up. Now I have done this once since I purchased the bike. But here we go again. So here's the spring down in here, and let's see how much it adjusts when we loosen the tensioner bolt. There was a bit in it. I had to give it a push to get it to go. Well, that's just slack in it. Now this has to come off anyway to complete the job, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. But as you can see, it was pretty much up to tension. And there's the OEM doohickey. There's the inner cover off. Here we go, it's all apart. Now we can see the spring and how much tension's on it. As you can see, there's some gaps at the other end of that coil still, so it certainly isn't out of adjustment. But it's close. So I'm not going to say one way or the other, but I'll leave it up to you guys. The debates go on and on, although I think most guys say just do the doohickey. So there it is, 7,300K. That's how much coil I have left. I wouldn't be comfortable leaving it, so I am going to change it. And put the Eagle Mike Doohickey lever and spring in. That's my spring right there with the tension off it. Now it was hooked on the back side of that post, so as you can see there's still close to a 1/4 inch of pull left in that spring. Maybe not quite, maybe 3/16, but more than it looked like it had at first. So I was still well safe at that point to be doing adjustments. But that's the end of that spring. We're going to go with the circular spring that Eagle Mike has available, and the torsion spring I think they call it. And so now we're going to go drill the case. So here's the thing. If I do the torsion spring, you leave the main spring off, and this sits in here loose. And you know what? I think it's gonna rattle. And rattles drive me mental. And after looking at Eagle Mike's new spring, so I'm gonna try to do here one-handed. Now there's a couple different sizes in the kit, but this one, look at how much extra that's going to give me when you slip this end around that. So I am going to run, not with the torsion spring, which I have purchased. Oop, come on now. But I'm going to run with this one. Nice gap in there. Lots of pull left. Easily 3/8 of an inch of pull left on that now. And that keeps this here nice and tight. No rattly. Now I know that everyone says, well, if you have the torsion spring, why wouldn't you just put it in, Mason? But that's why, and each to their own. I know there's gonna be 1,000 different opinions on that, but I still have the torsion spring, and this hasn't been that bad a job to do. Managed to salvage the gaskets, so I mean, I still have a full set of gaskets, and it gives me something to do in the winter time. So next winter I'll possibly tear it down again, and we'll have a look at how Eagle Mike's replacement spring is doing. It's only going to need this adjustment and one in the middle of the season anyway, for the kilometers that I'll put on it next year. So that's my decision, and I'm going to run with that. So that means it's time to button it back up. All right, here we go. New doohickey. Check. Adjustment bolt, which is now nicely in the center. Leave it loose. So there we go, all buttoned back up. There's just the front sprocket cover to put on, but I'm going to leave that off for the time being, and of course the shifter. So now it's just oil her up and make sure it runs right. So while I'm at it, I'm going to change the filter. Oil filter, fresh oil, and get it running.